Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tambi. If you are here for the first time, welcome. It's good to have you all here with me. So on my channel, I make videos sharing my journey with Jesus and my experiences with him. I also make videos expressing biblical truth based on today's cultural belief and social structure. Okay, so if you're interested in those topics, do hit the notification bell and also hit the subscription so that it keeps you updated. So last week I shared with you guys on how God delivered me from 12 years of demonic oppression from fear. And so today I'm going to talk about how God miraculous provision brought me to New Zealand from India. So keep listening. Okay, so 9 years ago, I finished my higher secondary from Dimapur and I moved back to my home city where my mom was living at. That's in Siliguri, West Bengal. And I took a year off, just stayed home. And the idea for me was to go to music college. We started looking for music colleges around India, but for some reason we couldn't find a college that I wanted to go. And so I ended up staying home for 2 years, and eventually we decided to look for a music college outside India. So when we started looking around, my parents especially had a lot of friends in New Zealand. So we kind of contacted people and they suggested us that Vision College would be a great place because I was looking for a Christian-based music college. So they suggested Vision College. So we looked it up, and Vision College, they contacted us and told us, in order to get into the college, we had to record 2 original songs and 2 cover. So that's what I did. I put a lot of work into my original songs, and so we recorded it, spent a lot of money, and the Vision College, they told us that there'll be a quota for scholarship. So we had our hopes high and we were like, we might get the scholarship, so this might actually work. So we sent through the audition tracks and everything. But unfortunately, the Vision College came back to us telling us that they had finished all the scholarship quotas and they couldn't give us any more scholarships. So to us and our family, that was literally, the end of finding a way to support me to study outside India, because the international fees, as we all know, are so expensive, and my family or I could have never afford an international fees. So that dream was completely crushed. So I was really devastated, to be honest. I was so heartbroken, firstly, and secondly, I was so disappointed at God because I had been praying over this for a really long time, and I made a serious commitment to Jesus when I was 16, and I told Jesus that I was going to serve him through my gifts and talent. That was my music. So I was really disappointed at God because I was like, God, I thought you were supposed to help me. I thought you were going to make a way for me to pursue music so that I can write songs for you. And I kind of started blaming God and started, feeling like God wasn't supporting my dreams. God wasn't supporting my vision. It was a big blow at my self-esteem as a musician as well. And so I eventually decided that it was too hard to serve God. I kind of decided in my head that I didn't want it to do anything with God anymore. So I decided to stop reading my Bible. I also decided to stop praying, and I decided to go back to a normal university. And I was like, maybe I'll just study commerce and I'll just do something with my life. So that was the decision I had made in my head. And so it was such a dark time in my life because I had already spent 2 years at home doing nothing. And I had my friends who had already gone to university and they were like doing so well. And it felt like my life was going nowhere. And especially when I saw my friends doing so well at the university and they were like ambitious, they want to do this and that, I felt so lost. I used to tell my mom, like, I feel like a, like a bag of potatoes just rotting at home. Even a lot of like my family members would just come around and they'll give me like a very smirky comment on why I wasn't doing anything with my life, and I was in a very dark place and I felt so discouraged. And on top of that, I had decided to stop talking to God. I decided not to, actually, I kind of decided not to be a Christian, and that went on for about 2 weeks. Every night I would cry. I was so heartbroken. I just came to a point where I felt it was so hard to please God. And so for 2 weeks, I cried. I didn't know what I wanted to do. My zeal and my passion for God was completely gone. And at the end of the 2 weeks, I remember I was sitting with my family. We were all having dinner together. And then in the middle of my conversation, I heard for the first time an audible voice of God. God, literally, he spoke to me. And in the middle of the conversation, God told me, Tambi, I want you to check your heart. Check your heart. And I looked around and I can see my family around me, but obviously I could hear God, but they couldn't. So I ran to the bathroom. I locked myself inside the bathroom and I was just like shivering. I didn't know what to do. I was shivering. And then God said, Tambi, check your heart. And he told me, you would sing songs that said, I love you, God, with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my strength. I will love you. I'm willing and ready to lay down my life for you. And then God challenged me. You sang all that, but did you really mean that? So when he challenged me, when he showed me where my heart was, I broke down. I went on my knees and I just cried. That's when I realized that I was telling God, I love you. I will lay down my life for you. At 16, I had a serious commitment to God to serve him with all of my life. And that's what I told him, like, God, I'll serve you with all of my life. But when the reality hit me and when I was put into test, I completely failed. There's one thing to say something with your words, but there's another thing to do with your heart conviction. So I just realized where my heart was at. My heart was in a place where I wasn't ready to surrender anything to God. I was saying it, but my heart wasn't doing it. I realized, okay, God, just because I didn't get admitted to a university, music university, I gave up on you. And that is completely selfish because I wanted you to help me get what I wanted. And when I didn't get what I wanted, I left you behind. And there was a really raw exposure of where my heart was. Oh my gosh, I don't even love you enough. And so I told him, as long as I have you, that's more than enough for me. And I told him, I know that you are with me. And if it's your will for me to stay home for the rest of my life, I will. I want to surrender. So as I was having a chat with God, I was apologizing. I was like, God, I'm sorry. I didn't know that my heart was so fickle, I didn't know until he tested my heart. I was apologizing to God, and God started telling me that he wanted to equip me with his word. So he was like, Tambi, I'm going to send you to a Bible college. If you want to write songs about me, you should know about me from the truth, from the Bible. That's what Jesus told me. And I started doubting again. I was like, oh God, is this really you? Or am I still talking to myself? So I kind of made a deal with God, and I told God, okay, if this is actually you, I want you to talk to my parents so that my parents approach me instead of me approaching my parents. To give you guys a bit of background, my mom and dad at that time, they were running a Bible college. So in my head, I thought that Jesus wanted me to join that Bible college that my mom and dad were running. So I waited for a week, and then another week passed by and my parents never approached me. And then the week after, I got an email from New Zealand, and it was from one of my parents' friends, and they were like, Tambi, we just wanted to know what is happening in your life and what you are doing. So it was a bit of like out of the blue, it was a random email. So I emailed back saying, oh, currently just, like serving my parents at home, serving the church through worship, but I told them nothing much. And after a few days, they sent me an email saying, would you be interested to come to New Zealand and study at Faith Bible College? And the whole course would be paid for. It'll be a full scholarship for you if you are interested. When I read that email, I was like screaming and shouting because my conversation with God came to pass. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is God. Literally, God had a chat with me weeks ago that he was going to send me to a Bible college, and now I get an email saying that they'll be interested to have me in New Zealand to study at a Faith Bible College. And that just blew my mind. It was just so crazy. It's just so amazing how God worked that out for me. And so after that, I applied for my passport, I applied for my visa, and I came to New Zealand because God had a plan for me to come to New Zealand. It was just God's miraculous provision. I was able to come to New Zealand and study at Faith Bible College for 2 years, not one, but 2. Everything paid for. I lived at the campus. I ate food at campus. I met lots of amazing people. I made good friendship with people that's gonna last for the rest of my life. I learned so much from Faith Bible College, and so it was such an amazing journey. God miraculously provided for me. The thing about that is that God had to first check my heart. God had to first rearrange the attitude of my heart. Because if I came to New Zealand without really loving my father, I would have just done dumb stuff, And that's why the 2 years that I thought that I was wasting away wasn't a waste. He was actually preparing my heart because he wanted me to succeed. So when the time came, he knew the time was right to open the door. That's why he opened the door. So it's amazing. You know what? God is so amazing. God is so intelligent. He knows exactly the right time for you and for me. And he will open the door at the right time. Therefore, we don't have to worry or be anxious about tomorrow. Like he did for me, he can do it for you. So you guys watching, if you guys are waiting on God for something, and you feel like, oh my gosh, like I've been waiting for so long and I don't know if this is ever going to happen. God said he would do it, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. If that doubt is coming in your head, I just want to encourage you and tell you that, in God's right timing, he will make a way and it's going to be perfect. If you have a need, he will provide. He will come true. Continue to make God your first priority. When you do that, everything will fall in place. And the second thing is when you make God your priority, instead of worry, instead of stress, you get peace. You get peace of heart and a peace of mind that surpasses the worldly understanding. The world cannot understand the peace we have in God because they don't really know or understand who we trust. We trust the one who created the universe. We trust the one who made you and me, who knows us so well from the inside out. If he can dress the lily in such splendor, how much more do you think he cares for you and for me? We are the apple of his eyes. Viewers, we are God's children and he loves us. He wants the best for us. So this is an encouragement for you all. If you're waiting on God, it's not wasted. Every waiting has a reason. God is doing something in your life so that when you get the breakthrough, you will be able to carry that breakthrough in faithfulness. So I just want to encourage you guys. Hope you guys are blessed. God is with you. So keep the faith up. Every time you in the middle of the night, you get anxiety attack, talk to Jesus. There's so much peace in his presence. So I hope you guys are blessed with this story. Okay, so before I finish this video, I want to announce a really cool thing. So from next week, I'm going to start a new series called Choose Wisdom 2.0. I'm going to talk about wisdom and why did Solomon chose wisdom? Because he chose wisdom, everything was added unto him, including riches. So if you guys want to stay updated, please hit the notification bell. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye guys.